These are real-life stories written by viewers. Some of these stories are cautionary tales while others tell about the success. This story comes from a man named Paul who moved to Cambodia to live out his dream life. My name is Paul. I am from Perth, Australia. I moved to Cambodia to escape life in Australia as I did not want to work on a cattle ranch for the rest of my life. My ideal life is to sit around and let others give me money. I arrived in Cambodia with only a few $100s to my name, but I was told that getting a job at a school was easy to do. So I looked around and landed a job at a local English school on Street 136. It was one of the big-name schools, and I was being paid $12 an hour for 5 hours a day. I was like, cool. Now I just needed an apartment. I found one advertised for $200 a month and went to look at it. I had to walk up a dark staircase with no lights. Paint peeled off the wall, and honestly, I could have walked by someone and not known they were standing there. Inside the apartment wasn't much better. The couch was ripped, to shreds, springs were poking out, little to no stuffing left inside. Paint was peeling off the walls. No one in their right mind would want to live there. However, one thing was there that intrigued me. A 10-foot ganja plant on the patio. I was in heaven and agreed to live there. I didn't care if the apartment looked like it was hit by a hurricane. All the furniture, including the kitchen and bedroom, looked as if it were picked up on a garbage heap on the side of the street. It didn't matter to me as long as I had my ganja. I started smoking it daily. All I could think was smoking every day. I smoked at least 7 joints a day. I started thinking I need to make money off of this. How could I? I decided to open a bar. This way I could roll a joint and sell it to the locals at $5 a stick. I was paying this at a local bar 1 block away from my house, until I hit the honey pot. I started looking around and discovered a bar for sale on Street 51. It was for sale for $20,000. I thought it was a good deal, so I inquired in an email and went there at night. I was in for a shock. When I went into the bar, there was absolutely no one in the bar except for 2 waitresses that seemed disinterested in talking to customers. I sat there for a moment and decided that no customers meant no money. The next day, I received an email from the owner with a spreadsheet on what was paid to open it, monthly expenses, and the last 6 months of revenue. 2 months the bar made a lot of money. However, I did a little more research and discovered that those 2 months of high revenue, another bar down the street had been closed due to a shooting outside of the establishment, and after the bar reopened, sales dropped 90%. I opted not to buy the bar. I also learned that to open a bar was around $1,500 for all the furnishings and licenses. I would just save my money and open it myself. I rented a moped at $150 a month and lived the good life smoking ganja, going to my friend's bar, eating pizza laced with ganja, and eating brownies laced with ganja. But something was missing. I needed to open a bar. But I wanted a girlfriend. I met a girl named Mom. She weighed in at around 70 kilos, but I thought of the world of her. She loved smoking ganja, so we hit it off. I decided to give her $400 a month to live with me. That was her pay to help keep the house clean, water the plant, and dry a few leaves per day. Everything was going well. I started saving a little money until one day. She had a female friend over. Her friend needed to go to the store, and Mom offered to let her borrow the moped. Her friend stole my moped. Not only now did I have to pay for the moped, I needed to go to the police to report it stolen. I had to pay the owner $1,200 for the moped that was stolen. I now couldn't open the bar as soon as I wanted to. The girl disappeared and never returned. Mom and I went to visit her family in the South. I gave her $300 and told her that this was our money until we returned, and we did not have a return ticket. Do not spend the money. As soon as she saw her parents, she gave them the $300. I flipped out. I told her we don't have money for anything and no return ticket back to our house. She gave me a confused stare. She barely got $45 back from her parents so we could get tickets back to the house. Her father showed me some land behind his house. He said when I married Mom, the land would be ours. I wanted to start a ganja farm and supply the city with ganja. That was the only thing on my mind. I met this one really cool English teacher from the USA. He knew how to cook and run a restaurant. I told him that we could partner into a restaurant bar and he could run and manage it while I grew ganja down south. He rejected the idea. I don't know why. This is when my life took a turn around for the worst. Mom moved out after I reduced her salary to $250 to pay me back for the moped that was stolen. Then tragedy struck. A few weeks later, my ganja plant died. I go to my friend's bar daily. I smoke 7 joints per day now, when I wake up, on my class breaks, before I go out, while I'm out, and before I go to bed. I live alone, bitter, angry, and jaded over everything. I didn't think my life would turn out like this.